Well, when your husband or wife drops the bombshell that they want a divorce, the effects on you, I am sure, are devastating. Can you get them to change your mind, you're probably asking? Well, actually, it is possible. Having your spouse wanting to end your marriage when you want to keep it together is probably the most difficult thing you as a married person could ever face. And whether it's because they've met someone else or the two of you have simply drifted apart, hearing those words, those dreaded words, "I'm not in love with you anymore and I want to leave," can create feelings of anger, depression, hurt, fear and helplessness. It's as if your whole world is coming crashing down all at once, isn't it? But the good news is that you can do things to change their mind. And I've got 6 things here to try, and you might find that if you try these things, your spouse, your husband or your wife might at least be willing to consider staying to work on your marriage. And at the very best, they'll realize the truth that your marriage is the place that they really want to be in after all. So these are the 6 things. Number 1, understand what your spouse is really saying to you. You know, when your husband or wife says they want a divorce, what they're really saying is that they feel that being somewhere else, which could be being on alone or with another person, but they feel that being somewhere else is going to make them happier than staying with you. Somehow you've stopped being their best option. Now this seems pretty obvious, but many people forget this. So realize that, understand what they're really saying to you, and this makes the solution obvious, which is make your marriage a happier place for them than any alternative. Now it might take time, but it can be done. The second thing, don't try to talk them out of it. If they've said they want a divorce, they want to leave, don't try to talk them out of it. Because arguing with them, pleading, begging, getting upset, making them feel guilty, even wanting them to work on your marriage with you, do you think any of those things are going to make your spouse feel happier about being with you? Obviously not. So despite all the temptations, avoid any of these behaviours, no matter how justified you feel. The third thing, don't be nice. You know, people say things like, well, I sent her flowers, I wrote notes telling her how much I love her, I bought her gifts, I told her I'd do anything to save our marriage, and she still left. Well, that's because trying to impress your spouse with kindness reeks of desperation. They'll almost certainly think you're only doing it just to get them to change their mind, rather than it creating any real positive change in your relationship. So instead of that, instead of being nice, I don't mean be nasty, I mean instead simply be loving towards them without pressure, and that includes respecting their decision that they want to leave your marriage. The fourth thing is, know in your heart that it's not really over. You know, a relationship takes a while to develop, and it equally takes time to unravel. So even if your spouse is on their way out the door and into someone else's door, you will have time to get them back. Just realize that you do have time. The fifth thing is to get to work on yourself. Now be honest here when I ask you, are you an attractive, fun, charismatic, easy person to be around? Do you make others, particularly your spouse, feel good? Do you feel good about yourself? Now I know facing a divorce is not the easiest time to display these qualities, but if you want to be the best choice for your husband or your wife, as I mentioned earlier, then you simply have to be your best. So get to work on developing the good aspects of yourself. It's not only the best strategy for saving your marriage, but you become a better person too. And the last thing, don't take it personally. People want to end marriages for all sorts of reasons. Often they don't even really know why themselves. So sure, your relationship might have not been good for a while, and you've probably done some things you regretted. But being rejected by your spouse doesn't mean that you're a bad person and that the end of your marriage is all your fault. So take some time to think about your good qualities. Surround yourself with people who like and respect you, and realize that both you and your spouse are simply doing your best. You know, I've met people who are self-made millionaires who've built large companies from nothing. I've met other people who've overcome huge physical and emotional barriers and problems. And when they've been in this situation of having to save their marriage, they've all said that saving their marriage when their spouse wanted a divorce was by far the biggest challenge they ever faced. So stopping a divorce really requires doing things that may appear counterintuitive. It can be done, however, with patience, belief, and the right action. And the rewards, of course, in a stronger and happier marriage, probably stronger and happier than it was before, are incomparable. So use these 6 things, but if you'd really like a step-by-step plan to save your marriage from divorce, a really powerful plan, then enroll in my Save Your Marriage program. This is a 30-day program, and this will show you not only how to save your marriage, but how to have the relationship you really want and deserve to have. So all of the information for that is on my website, liamnaden.com, or follow the link below, and I look forward to helping you soon.